Sir, can you hear me? Sir, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can I start, sir?
Yes, please start. Please.
Okay, thank you, sir. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to all of you. I hope you are in good health and doing well amid this COVID-19 pandemic. Also, I pray for the salvation of the souls of those who have lost their lives in the COVID-19 global pandemic and sympathize with their bereaved families. I wish for recovery of all those who have been infected with the coronavirus and currently undergoing corona treatment. I am Mr. Saiful Islam, lecturer, Department of Finance and Banking, National University, Bangladesh, as a host of this conference on behalf of Professional Peer Academia. I welcome you all to our today's international web conference. The conference title is Effectiveness of Online Teaching and Assessment, the Paradigm Shift in Higher Education. In this very good evening, we are here with a galaxy of intellectuals of the world to discuss the effectiveness of online teaching and assessment in higher education in this COVID-19 situation. Before we dive into the technical session of this conference, it would be great if we introduce today's resource person with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am really privileged to honor to introduce our distinguished guest in the panel today's conference. They are from USA, UK, Australia, Sri Lanka, Nepal, India, and Bangladesh. Now, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome our panelists who are joining in this conference. I will introduce one by one. Very beginning, I extend a warm welcome to today's session chair, Professor Dr. Nazrul Islam, Dean of School of Business and advisor to the Board of Trustees, Pande University of Bangladesh. He also worked for more than 20 years in different business schools of public and private university of Bangladesh like Khonla University, North-South University, Bragg University, East-West University, and Eastern University in Bangladesh. Welcome, sir, in our today's conference. Welcome, sir. My heartiest welcome to our resource person, Professor Dr. H.M. Johirul Haq, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Liberal Arts, Bangladesh, ULAB. Professor Haq received his PhD degree in Computer Science and Engineering from Kharkov National University of Radio Electronics, Ukraine in 2001. Professor Haq conducted research at the University of Massachusetts, Boston as a visiting Fulbright scholar from January 2018 to April 2018. Welcome, sir, in our international web conference.
Thank you.
It will be my honor to introduce another resource person, Dr. Azaz Ahmed, Dean of Division of Business, Entrepreneurship and Technology Program, Columbia College, South Carolina, USA. He is a senior certified professional by the Society of Human Resource Management, USA. He has been a member of the inaugural research advisory panel of the Australian ASR Institute and chair of the organizational behavior stream in the Australian and New Zealand Academy of Management. Welcome, sir, in our international conference.
Thank you, Mr. Islam.
The next distinguished person will honor us with his presence is as associate person, Professor Dr. Ajanta Dharmeshwari, Director and Chairman, Postgraduate Institute of Management, PIM, University of Sri Jayawardapura, Sri Lanka. He is the past president of Chartered Institute of Personal Management, CIPM, Sri Lanka, and was the vice president of the Asia Pacific Federation of Human Resource Management. So, welcome, sir, in our session. The next distinguished research person is Professor Dr. Taimur Sharif, Faculty of Arts, Society and Professional Studies and Head of Business Program, Newman University, Birmingham, United Kingdom. He completed MSc in Economic Quantitative Methods at Stockholm University, Sweden, and PhD in International Business and London South Bank University, UK. Before moving to Newman in August 2019, Taimur was the Director of Faculty of Business and Management at Muscat University in Oman. Welcome, sir, in our international web conference.
Thanks.
It will be a privilege for me to introduce another resource person, Professor Dr. Ampo Harikrishnan, Dean, School of Business and School of Arts, and Registrar in Das International University, Himachal Pradesh, India. Ampo received his PhD from Bharatanagar University, Tamil Nadu, India in 2009. Sorry for that, sir, not yet to join with us for his technical problem. I hope again I will introduce him with us. Next guest, it will be my honor to introduce another research person, Associate Professor Dr. Faiz Uddin Ahmed Sheikh, School of Civil and Mechanical Engineer, Curtin University, Perth, Australia. He received his PhD in Civil Engineer from National University of Singapore in 2005. He received his MSc Engineer from the Asian Institute of Technology, Bangkok, Thailand in 1998. He is a Chartered Professional Engineer of Australia as well as Fellow of Engineer Australia and member of Concrete Institute of Australia. Welcome, sir, in our international web conference. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
guest.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Last
Thank you.
but not the least, of our another distinguished research person, Dr. Jitendra Dangle, Associate Professor and Head, Research Department, Public Youth Campus, Faculty of Management, Tribhuvan University, Nepal. Dr. Dangle completed his PhD, MPhil as well as MBA from Tribhuvan University, Nepal. He was Deputy Director of School of Management, Tribhuvan University from 2014 to 2018. Welcome, sir, in our international web conference. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
A very warm welcome to all the participants and viewers from various prestigious universities and industrial sector across the globe. Before going to start our session, I want to give an international introduction to our today's conference. This COVID-19 pandemic needs no introduction, and we are sound aware of that. The impact has been dramatic and transformative as the teachers struggle to come up with a short-term solution for remote teaching and assessment, particularly in Asian countries where students and institutions are facing additional challenges related to financial and infrastructural support to continue their studies. Most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, leaving no one behind on that, this international web conference aims to share the impact of COVID-19 and strategy to overcome the challenges in teaching, learning, and assessing process in different countries of the world with our guests. The impact of COVID-19 in teaching, learning have been very painful and stressful during this time, but it also compelled us to reimagine the education system as well. It is giving all the stakeholders, that include faculty members, students, policymakers, members of the community, a better understanding of the current education system situation or scenario. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really honored that we have 8 distinguished guests with us on the panel today to share their expertise, their successes, and assist us to addressing the challenges faced by the higher education institution. With no further delay, it gives me immense pleasure to call upon an eminent professor and researchers, our beloved Professor Dr. Nazrul sir. He has supported us to arrange this international web conference to ensure the quality education for all. I convey my deepest gratitude and thanks to our Professor Dr. Nazrul sir. Now moving on towards the technical session, I cordially invite to all of you to join our live program and give your constructive feedback through our comment box by our given Facebook page link, inshallah. Now we are entering in the technical session. The technical session will be chaired by Professor Dr. Nazrul sir, Dean of School of Business and Advisor to the Board of Trustees, Canada University of Bangladesh. Now I request Professor Dr. Nazrul sir to take over the technical session. Thank you, sir. Sir, floor goes to you. Nazrul sir.
So good evening to all of you. I welcome you all to this very important web conference on effectiveness of online teaching and assessment, the paradigm shift in higher education. You know that along with other problems, COVID also created problem or affected our teaching and learning process in higher educational institutions. And research shows that 2/3 of the classroom teaching has been replaced by the distance teaching and learning methods due to this COVID-19. And due to the change of face to face to distance teaching, it has created some problems of the students who are connected to and the faculty members connected to technical infrastructure, competency, and pedagogy of the distance learning. So, questions has been raised regarding this teaching learning method, online teaching learning method, and also the assessment systems. Therefore, this conference has been organized to clear and to share the experience of the professors and the researchers working in different parts of the world. So I hope that this conference will help the policymakers, students, faculty members, and other stakeholders clear the ambiguity and the quality of online teaching learning methods, and also the assessment, fairness in assessment method. So with this, I would like to start this technical session. So first of all, I would like to welcome Professor Dr. H.M. Johirul Haq, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Liberal Arts, Bangladesh, to say something about this topic, effectiveness of online teaching and assessment. So how can we make this online teaching and assessment effective and acceptable to the stakeholders of higher educational institutions of the world? Sir.
Thank you, Professor Nazrul. I am very glad for being invited here, and thank you very much for organizing such a wonderful and timely event for the people of the world. How many minutes I can have? Maybe about 7 to 8 minutes. Is it okay? So let me first of all welcome my panel members to this session. At first, I'd like to tell all of you one important thing, that the COVID-19 has created a very good scope, huge opportunity for the higher education sector to go for online teaching and learning and assessment. Unless we faced COVID-19, we could not, adapt online teaching, learning, and assessment so quickly. Therefore, all the time, I keep saying that yes, we have been suffering from COVID-19 a lot. We have been suffering from Corona crisis, but at the same time, it has become a great opportunity for the education sector of the world. For example, even 8 months before, we could not think about online teaching and learning in Bangladesh at a massive level, but now it is reality. In Bangladesh, even in school level, even in the class 1 level, students are doing their academic activities online. Can you imagine such a third world country like Bangladesh? We are running our online teaching and learning at the primary school level. And of course, high school, English medium school, we are doing very successfully just because of COVID-19. And of course, in the tertiary level, we have been doing it very successfully, particularly in the private university sector. I am not going to make any comment regarding public universities of Bangladesh, regarding the activities that they are doing, because we in Bangladesh, private universities, private institutions are very much different from public institutions, because we all the time, I mean those who are working in private sectors, we do everything possible for our survival, and we do our best so that we can do better, so that we can survive by ourselves. Because of that particular reason, all the time private universities are doing a lot of good activities, a lot of new initiatives they are taking, a lot of innovative things they are doing. And I am very happy to say that maximum private universities in Bangladesh are running their online teaching, learning, and assessment very successfully from the very beginning of the crisis. COVID-19 crisis. Now, let me tell you one example what we are doing at my university. Actually, we started. I am working as the Vice Chancellor of University of Liberal Arts Bangladesh. We, in fact, started our online teaching and learning back in 2007. My colleague Nasir Khan, he taught a course in 2007 fall semester. The course was Introduction to Sustainable Development. So we started our online teaching long before, long before. Therefore, we faced no problem regarding shifting from face-to-face learning and teaching to online teaching and learning. But I am talking about not only Bangladesh, I am talking about the whole sector. So to me, it is very effective. Online teaching, online assessment, why not effective? We are doing very well in terms of teaching courses, in terms of assessing our students. For example, for teaching, maximum faculty members at our university are using Google Meet, and they have been doing it very successfully from the very beginning. Some of the teachers are using Zoom, and some of our colleagues are also using Moodle. So I think our teachers are doing very well, and I receive no complaints from them. They are doing, it's very normal. Maximum of our students are from, from some good cities. There are many students, 6 to 7% students have come from the rural areas, like, a village. But still, in the village level, students have 2G network. They can, have their learning by using Facebook group. So I can say, so in the places where the network is very good, there is very speedy internet. In those areas, we can use Google Meet and also Zoom, and we can upload our lecture material via Google Meet and so on. But for the students who are living in rural areas, for them we use Facebook group, and using Facebook group they can see the video that we upload for them. So in Bangladesh, we are running online teaching and learning activities and also assessment activities very successfully, I would say. And I'm very glad that we got this opportunity because of COVID-19. So unless we face this difficulty, unless we faced this COVID-19, we would not have gone online teaching and learning, So because of the COVID, now Bangladesh, is doing very good in terms of online teaching and learning at, primary school level, high school level, college level, and education level. Now let us talk about a bit assessment. So we finished last term online. So we, finished our midterm examination online and final exam online, and also we used to take, and we have been, taking our quizzes, class tests online. So for taking quizzes and class tests, our teachers are using Google Form, and they are doing it very successfully. But for midterm exam, for final examination, our teachers are using Google Classroom. So it is very comfortable and very user friendly. So our teachers face, they didn't face any problem, and I received no complaint from our teachers. So I would say that online teaching and learning and assessment are going on very well in our country, and the kind of responses that we received from the students, it is very satisfactory. Even those who are living in the rural areas, they are also involved in online teaching and learning activities, and there is no complaint. In Bangladesh, we have 104 private universities, and out of 104 private universities, 85 private universities are in operation. So out of 85 private universities, I think about 75 to 80 universities are running their activities online. Even universities, those are situated in district level, they are running their teaching and learning and assessment online, and they are doing it very successfully. So I would like to particularly thank the University Grants Commission of Bangladesh, and of course our honorable education minister and deputy minister for education supported us a lot for going for online teaching and learning in Bangladesh at tertiary level. So I am very hopeful, and I am very much optimistic. I think COVID-19 has given us a huge opportunity for having practice, online teaching and learning, at a massive level. So I am very glad that the organizer has has invited academics from Australia, UK, India, and many other countries. So I am very proud to be part of this conference, and I would like to thank all the panel members and the organizers. Thank you very much.
Sir, for your valuable speech on this very important and timely issue, online teaching and assessment. You have correctly said that yes, although it is a pandemic, it has created sufferings of the people at all levels, also the students, teachers, and everybody. But it has also created some opportunities, some benefits for the especially for the students, because the Bangladeshi students, Bangladeshi faculty members at the tertiary level, from primary to tertiary level, not many people are used to with this online teaching learning method, with this online assessment system. So I'm sure that they found it useful, because it is flexible. Learning is possible here, and it is helping us for blending learning or hybrid education. Part of it, for example, maybe technical part lab session can be done in lab or the engineering department. Anyway, thank you, sir, for your useful and valuable opinion, and also finding this method very effective for the Bangladeshi students at the tertiary level, the higher education institutions of Bangladesh. Thank you, sir, for joining with us. Please stay with us. There might have some questions from the audience. So thank you, sir. Now I am going to invite Professor Dr. Rizaz Ahmed, who is the Dean of Division of Business, Columbia College, South Carolina, USA. Professor Rizaz Ahmed.
Thank you, Dr. Islam, and thanks for having me today. There are several issues that has brought up with COVID-19 situations, and I think the Vice Chancellor has rightly suggested that the advancement of technology has helped us to take our courses online all of a sudden, and we could successfully run it. I think apart from taking it online, I would like to highlight 3 areas which needs our attention as educators and also administrators of higher education providing institution. First of all, that the student's perspective of learning is different right now. For example, the original brick and mortar are based in face-to-face teaching and learning. That has been challenged, and students have accepted that they would be able to get the education through online or through virtual mode, or sometimes we also call in the US as a remote mode. Um, but what about their learning styles? So universities predominantly focused on use of pedagogy. And I think time has come for us to discuss about the theory of andragogy, or how adults learn. And the use of andragogy suggests that students or individuals are adults and they'll be self-directed in learning. And the institution's focus should be on helping them to achieve their goals. So use of andragogy has been questioned right now. Throughout my time in the last 20 odd years in higher education, I have always seen talking about pedagogy, not andragogy. So I think this is the time that we focus on andragogy. And probably we might have another session on andragogy in some other time. Secondly, we have, I mean, I can speak about the United States. We have about 20 million individuals or students who are studying in the higher education sector every year. That is roughly the population of entire Australia. So you can see what is the volume of students we have in the United States. And all of a sudden, we took all of the students from brick and mortar universities to online or virtual space. The concept is not about having them taught online. The problem is, or the issue is, that most of the universities you will find have nearly 15 to 20 disciplines, such as business, engineering, um, social sciences, and other areas. So these 15 to 20 schools, they are not all fully equipped to go online and teach online courses. For example, business education, which is very popular all over the world. I'm quite sure in Bangladesh and in South Asia, which is also very popular. And in the United States, it's really, really popular, no doubt about that. Now, business education is one of the primary ones which went online before rest of the other disciplines, no doubt about that. And I'm sure in Bangladesh and in South Asia and also in the United States, most of the universities offer business programs partially online. So this is not an important issue for us to move forward with the online if we are teaching business courses. I think my concerns are those courses which require lab work, such as chemistry, biology, engineering. We also have an engineering expert today from Australia here. I would like to hear his ideas and how they're coping. And I think that is one of the important issues, a part of andragogy. So students' perspective of learning needs to be looked at very clearly. And how do we manage courses or programs which require labs or some form of physical test? I would also like to highlight here about the context of going or moving online. And I think Bangladesh has shown how advancement in ICT or information and communication technology can help to mitigate situations such as COVID and quickly move into online space. And I'm sure that the almost every one of us are now buying and selling products online. And the logistics have been such that we can get products overnight or in sometimes in few hours. So this has happened because of the advancement of technology. So use of technology is prime into this factor. And this has also opened up the age-old question. In the 90s, we have had the buzzword called digital divide. So basically, the have and have-nots of the ICT products by a group of population in a particular society is called digital divide. So you might be using the updated technology and have fast internet at home, and you can afford it. But you'll be surprised to know that in the United States, which is said to be one of the richest countries in the world, 21 million people do not have access to ICT products, updated ones, and also fast internet. So, in the absence of uh, products which are not available, how will we take and ensure that our courses, our programs are ensuring equity in the society? We should not forget that universities play or colleges play a very important role in establishing and achieving sustainable development goals set by the United Nations, which we are supposed to achieve by all the countries in the world by 2030. Now, this has been challenged, no doubt about it. Universities, higher education providers, you and I, and rest of our colleagues, we ensure social justice by providing education to our students. These students, in turn, become social leaders. Some managers, some leaders, some entrepreneurs, some professors, some might be going into the governments, many different ways. So, in other ways, we play a very important role in maintaining social and sustainable development goals for the countries. So, how are you ensuring that when we do not have access to the right equipment, to the right kind of internet facilities, and so forth? And countries which have advanced in the recent years in technology has taken, or these countries have taken real good benefit of COVID-19 and move forward to an online mode. And I can tell you from a lot of research that a lot of students will not go back to brick and mortar old school universities. And there is a research that has suggested in the United States about 5 to 10% of the universities and colleges, which is roughly about 3 to 400, will be either merged or shut down in the next few years. The reasons are pretty simple because universities have cut costs through online education, no doubt about that. And there is a new business model that has shown up that we can work remotely and successfully achieve all of our objectives by effective learning and teaching. And students can be satisfied with most of our courses, if not all, if it doesn't require a lot of lab works and other types of requirement. So I think this is an important part that we should look at. So social equity needs to be looked at, but also we should focus about 1 billion people in this world who are having challenges. Either they are physically or mentally disabled, or they are differently able. So when we talk about taking our courses online, when we think about how we are getting all our targets fulfilled, and we have to accept it. If you are an administrator in higher education sector, it's all about targets. It's all about meeting challenges. But how are we ensuring social equity when in the entire world, 1 billion people are disabled and they have challenging needs? So andragogy plays a very important role. I will go back to my original theory of andragogy that suggests that responsibilities lies with the individuals who study, but universities and colleges should provide a way towards that. So they should support their learning experiences. And finally, I would suggest that in the brick mortar situation, we always had a proctored exams and assessments. When we go online, unless you have had a particular way of ensuring a proctored exam, which will be very expensive, new technologies such as a locked browser system might be used, or other proctor services which might be expensive. You will not be able to justify the assessments that you are doing, because again, accept the fact, if I'm an online student, I have enrolled in my name as Izaz Ahmed. How do you know that whether Izaz Ahmed is doing all the hard work and submitting the assignments? I might have hired Karim Ahmed or someone else to do my assignment and submit in your university's profile or university system. So the need of authentic assessments, the need of reflection-based assessments, the need of proctored and closed, or for example locked browser are very important to ensure that we have absolute academic integrity in our online program. I think these are the few issues that comes to my mind, which I think is contextual, apart from just online teaching, that is much more about academic governance. Thank you all.
It is natural that the students will learn by their own, and the institutions and the universities will just support. And for ensuring the quality and fairness in exam and assessment, you mentioned here that locked browser can be used, but it might be expensive. Anyway, thank you for bringing this very important issue. So higher educational institution can think about this andragogy issue at this moment, at this COVID pandemic situation, also after this pandemic situation. Thanks, Professor Azaz. Now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Ajanta Dharmeshwari, Director and Chairman, Postgraduate Institute of Management, University of Sri Jayawardhanepura, Sri Lanka. Professor Ajanta, please.
Hi, everyone. That's how we treat and greet one another in Sri Lanka, means may you have long life. I think this is the right time to wish that way, because we all are struggling in our lives. COVID-19 gave us, on one side, fresh set of challenges, on the other side, fresh set of opportunities. So while we were, while we were locking down, we were looking up for fresh synergies, fresh opportunities, fresh way of doing our education. So thank you very much for the organizers for inviting me. And I represent the largest postgraduate institute in Sri Lanka, and where we had this challenge in front of us. So we cater for working managers. They come for part-time programs. So when they were challenged by their organizations for extra work and working from home, and then challenges of not being able to conduct the businesses properly, smoothly, and when there were economic challenges, and that is the time where we had to be conscious about what they were going through and to tailor the educational programs for the benefit of them. So what we did, or rather what we have done so far, is to critically look at three aspects. I would say contents, context, and the conduct. So the contents of the program, we had to shrink in certain aspects, and we had to ensure that we fit into the time frame that is available. And the context, it was a case where we need to resort to online teaching and assessing. So it is an opportunity in front of us. And then the conduct made a big difference. So let me dwell more on the conduct of it. So online is an assortment of different types of tools. So we had to go through a mind shift, or rather mindset change. For me, it was challenging at the beginning. And again, they say change is the only permanent thing in the whole world. Everything is changing. So this is a testing time, whether we are willing to change, whether we are willing to embrace change, and whether we are willing to change for better. Because as an institution well established, as an institution having a reputation for fantastic faculty, we were more treated as sages on the stage. So we had to shift the mind from sage on the stage to guide on the side. It is mainly guiding the learning participants. I enjoyed the previous thought sharers' insights with regard to andragogy, self-centered, adult-centered, in other words, learner-centered. So there has to be greater maturity, greater discipline, greater ownership of learning from the learner's point of view. And then where we need to support them, we need to help them, we need to assist them. So that's exactly we were trying to do. So shifting our mind from being a sage on the stage to guide on the side. So we had to relook at the way we present our contents. We had to relook at the way we were engaging the learning partner. That is the term we use, learning partners, those who partner with us for learning, not just students, but learning partners, learning community together. So we had to engage them. That was a key engagement challenge. Unlike you see them physically connecting with you, the challenge of engaging them virtually was tremendous. How to ensure that they are with you all the time, how to ensure that they are meaningfully with you all the time, they are mentally, emotionally with you, apart from being virtually with you all the time. So we had to have some spot tests, spot questions, Q&A, and then allowing them to raise questions, virtually raising hands, and then ensure that we have a meaningful engagement right throughout, rather than we bluntly presenting sets and series of PowerPoint slides, sometimes losing the powerful points in the jungle of PowerPoint slides. So that's what we were conscious about. So we consciously avoided. That is a starting point. So that is 100% online teaching. Then we shifted to what we call a hybrid approach. So we brought a sample of students or learning partners to the institution, and while we were physically delivering to them, there was a simultaneous online simulcast or online version or synchronous mode of connecting the online learning participants. So we felt that hybrid approach was very, very effective. Say, while the physical participants were engaging in the classroom, we were also engaging the virtual participants. So it is that hybrid approach that was really, I would say it was more successful than 100% online, the hybrid approach. So that is all about online teaching. Then what about the assessments? We had a take-home exam, we had some online quizzes, and we ensured that we had that the camera option where we looked at the surroundings and we trusted on the maturity of the participants and variety of other aspects. And it was all in all a successful experience. But having said that, my personal opinion is we need to get back to the blended learning approach where online teaching would be a critical aspect, but overall, holistically, it should not be the learning approach. The learning approach should be an assortment of different learning techniques. Online occupies a primary role, hybrid also can be a crucial one, and then even physical getting together could be another important one. So we need to bring all things together. So I have a case in point to wind up, where we had been having one particular program called Master of Public Administration, catering to the government sector officials. Some of them are far away in the northern part of Sri Lanka. Some of them are far away in the eastern part of Sri Lanka. So we offered this program through the blended learning mode, where some of the participants physically come to Colombo, where our institution is located, and other study groups are simultaneously joining us through the technology, through the virtual learning. So we had it as a blended learning approach. We conduct sessions every Saturday for 3 to 4 weeks, and then we have assessments. For the assessments, some of them physically come, others do that online with supervision through technology. So I think all in all, we saw lots and lots of promises. At the same time, some problems that we need to tackle, but overall promises far surpass the problem. So I think, as my previous presenters mentioned, we see a promising prospects with regard to online and, in my view, hybrid approach or even a blended learning approach, where the holistic way of looking at education needs to be revisited as a new paradigm in the post-COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you.
Analyzing important topic from three point of view: context, content, and conduct. And you have rightly identified that these three areas are the challenging areas. And among these three, conduct is the most challenging area in front of the regulators, in front of the professors, in front of the university authorities. And to overcome this challenge, you have also rightly mentioned that mindset to accept the change is important, is to be changed. And the ownership is to be created among the learners. That is also very important. And to make it effective, organization, a higher educational institution should support this and should engage these students in their work, should follow or apply the techniques and methods that will help them to engage in study, engage in research, in higher educational or institutions. And for assessment, you have mentioned that yes, only one method cannot give us the guarantee to ensure quality. We should think about the blended approach. We should think more than one approaches, so that unfairness or biasness which are raised by the which may come at the mind of the learners may be minimized if we follow and use blended approach or hybrid approach. So you suggested that yes, a holistic approach can be applied here in this assessment and teaching learning process in online. Thank you, Professor Dr. Ajanta Dharmeshwari, for sharing your valuable thoughts in this conference. Thank you, sir. Now I invite Professor Dr. Taimur Sharif. Professor Sharif is the head of business programs, Faculty of Arts, Society and Professional Studies, Newman University, Birmingham, United Kingdom. Professor Taimur Sharif, please share your thoughts with us.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the invite, and it's a pleasure being in this conference and hearing to varieties of experiences from all over the world. And actually, the topic is quite broad, and I believe that I shouldn't be talking on each of these parts of this topic. So what I'll be focusing on is with reference to Mr. Saiful Islam's question to the Vice Chancellor of UNED about the authenticity or acceptability of the degree by the companies. So I just want to give one example from Germany, university called International University of Applied Sciences. In short, they call it IBUH. They have collaborated with 22 multinational corporations. And those multinational corporations actually fund or provide sponsors to the candidate who are doing 100% online degrees. So the authenticity is there. So what is the reason? The major reason behind this is actually digital proctoring methods. What they have done, actually, they do exam, they conduct the exam one-to-one basis. So if you sit for the exam, so there will be one person observing you through the camera. And before you sit for the exam, you have to move around the camera and make sure that nobody is there in the room that you will be attending the exam. And the camera has to be focused in such a way that it will be focusing on your exam paper. And is one person is writing, one person is doing all the work, and that is guaranteed through that. So this is one way. But the problem is, because we are brick and mortar universities mostly, and because of pandemic, we are moving or trying to shift towards online mode, we can't really invest that much of amount of money actually on these sort of deliveries. So that's not physically possible for us. So from my context, what we have seen that exam conducting was always an issue from the beginning of this year, especially the written exams. So when we had two types of situations, some of the exams were given online and students were given 2 hours open book exam and half an hour extra time to download the question paper and uploading it back, the scan copy. What we found that some of the students actually straight away use internet sources, copied and pasted the answers and uploaded them. So when we ran through the Turnitin, many of these came 90% or above. Even we have one case who had 98%. And it was the flaw for us, and we couldn't challenge the student because students said that you never told us that you will be checking the plagiarism. So that was one situation. So to tackle that, we came up with two other ideas now. The one is some of the courses, the teacher is allowing 24 hours. You take the exam, you are given 24 hours, you do all the research, you can handwrite, you can word process, but for all the information you provide, the information has to be cited. And you have to follow Harvard referencing style. So it's more like a doing an assignment, but the difference is it's a written exam and you will be giving open book exam, critical questions. So this is one approach followed. The other approach followed was you can still do 2 hours exam and half an hour extra time for downloading and uploading, but you have to handwrite the exam. So you don't have the privilege of going straight to the Google search and copy and paste and in the copy and upload it back. You don't have that much time. So you have to really know the topic. You need to really know the content of the subject so that you can handwrite and manage it within two hours. So apart from this, we have presentation issues that the live presentations that we used to conduct, that wasn't possible. So what we did, we gave some set questions and students had to video record it and they could upload it. So that was quite possible. So in case of question and answer situations, because it was uploaded, question and answering was not really possible. So what we are thinking next semester is that students will be doing Zoom presentation. They can share their slides as a group, and students will be putting their questions in the chat box if it is too many of them. But if there are a few questions, they can ask the questions online, directly live. So that way we were thinking to sort out the problem. In terms of the authenticity of the degree, actually, I was hearing one of the talks of Dr. Ijaz that he said that the reliability of or acceptability of digital education is increasing, which I accept 100%. But the problem is, in our enrollment situation, we have seen that, or when I talk to my friends, we have seen that there are students who actually postpone their study. And I particularly know a few students from abroad. They said that because we are paying for on-campus study and we are paying still the same amount of money as tuition fees, we don't think it's feasible actually staying at home and paying the same amount of money and getting online services. I don't feel, or we don't feel, that we are really being fairly treated. So they postpone their study. So we are going to lose about 5 to 10% student in that way. Another issue that I'll be raising, why I'm talking about issues is actually because there are lots of positive things. I'm not going to highlight on that. I'm talking about the issues that we face and we are about to face. It looks like that common perception is that when you are doing online activities as a teacher, you have a lot more free time because you're staying at home. But the reality is, and all my colleagues sitting here will agree that actually our time commitments substantially increased. And interestingly, next semester, our teaching delivery time has been set from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Whereas in normal situation, it's not the case. If you're delivering in the evening, you come probably at 3 o'clock, finish at 9 p.m. And in the normal time, 9 to 6 probably, but that's not happening at the moment. So that has really increased. There are issues of student well-being. So when students were at home, I think someone's microphone is on. Sorry. Students' well-being issues are also there because we have seen that in the UK, there are quite a few students who are single parents. There are quite a few students who have home caring responsibilities to their parents or very young children, infant children. So even if we wanted to run these online sessions, they couldn't be actually managing the situation because of their home responsibilities. There are few students who have economic issues, who normally depend on the library resources. They come to the university, they work whole day, they go home. So they close everything before they go home and completely switch off. This group of students actually started struggling because they didn't have a laptop, they didn't have Wi-Fi at home, so they could not access the library resources from home. So for these sort of students, we had to extend the submission dates. And in many cases, some of them enjoyed more than 2 months. But the problem is when you give 2 months extension, it's a psychology. Students think that I've got plenty of work, time to do this work. They slow down the thing. So they start communicating with us in the last 1 or 2 weeks, and they start again asking for extension. So the motivation and the psychological issues are all there. We have seen that email queries actually increased. Students started asking too many questions actually after COVID because they're staying at home and they think that we have the privilege to ask the teacher and they are there 24 hours to help us. So that was actually an issue for us. And one last thing I would tell that sometimes our perception is that this is a cost-effective method. But to be honest, if you want to switch to the online delivery a lot, like the German example I gave you, they invest massive amount of money, millions of dollars on setting up those structures. So sometimes we feel that instead of human resources, if we just replace them with money, the amount of money it costs actually doesn't really save a lot of money for us. It's the perception or the society, how we take it, how the employers take it. If there are good perception about the education, authentication of the education, it will be well accepted. But certainly it's not cost saving. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Taimur Sharif, for your valuable thoughts on this very contemporary issue. And you have correctly identified the authenticity, explained the authenticity of the degree and certificate that has been raised by professional academia. How are we going to ensure the authenticity of the certificate, and also how are we going to check the plagiarism? And thank you for addressing this issue. And also you have shared that yes, open book exam, and but again question is how to ensure the plagiarism, and your plagiarism check shows that they copied from internet. So you have adopted the handwritten thing. Even they can see and write and then submit. Anyway, here the most important issue you raised is the psychological aspect, and that is really important. That has also been mentioned by Professor Azanta, that is mindset. And also Professor Ezas, that how you are adult learner in university level. So in adult learning methodology, in adult learning system, so there should not be a question of plagiarism, should be a question of copying, right? So I think so this mindset and also the andragogy, we shall have to think about it. And you also indicated the Bloom's taxonomy issue, I guess, that the questions we shall have to ask or form question in such a way so that they will be able to answer, but after a significant research. So you know that the Bloom's taxonomy tells us there are 6 areas where we can develop capability and ask the questions: memorizing question, understanding question, analyzing question, then applying question, evaluating question, and creating question. So at the tertiary level, we can use the last 3 or last 4. That means analyzing question, applying question, then evaluating question, and also creating question, type question we can ask to minimize this plagiarism, copying things in from this online system. Thank you, Professor Taimur Sharif, for your valuable thoughts on these very contemporary issues of online teaching and assessment. Now I would like to invite Professor Dr. Ampu Hari Krishnan. Professor Ampu is a very good friend of mine. He is presently the Dean of School of Business and School of Arts, and also he is the Registrar of Indus International University, Himachal Pradesh, India. Professor Ampu.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Professor Nazrul, Islam, and other distinguished speakers, I'm very honored to be a part of Professionals Academia. At the outset, I have to say that what Professor Nazrul has initiated today will go a long way and become the role model for other private universities in Asian context. Having spent considerable amount of time in India in the private university setup and having seen the private university setup of Bangladesh, I am here to present effectiveness of online teaching and assessment, the paradigm shift in higher education, the state of Himachal Pradesh. I'll just give a quick introduction about the university setup in India. The history of state private universities, that is, private universities established by an state government of Himachal Pradesh to an act passed by the state legislature in 2002. JP University was the first one, and our university was established through Indus International University Establishment and Regulation Act 2009. So we are a 11-year-old university. Approval and accreditation are two separate aspects in India, like other parts of the world. All state private universities in Himachal are being approved by University Grants Commission, the apex controlling body for all universities in India. Coming to the topic, we being private university, we rather being a state private university, we are total 17 in number, and we have been fortunate enough to have been closely mentored by the state government of Himachal Pradesh, who is doing a commendable job in handholding the private universities which are facing a lot of difficulties. Now, the state of Himachal Pradesh uh, is having very effective internet connectivity, and more than 40% households have access to internet. May I also point out to all the distinguished professors here that 97% of our university students are digitally connected with the university system, university administration system. But as we have seen Professor Ajendra Sujiva and other speakers emphasizing, there are certain issues which we are facing, and we have decided to put a full stop somewhere in online education. Online education is very good, very excellent, but the mindset of the parents, and 98% of our students in the university are girls, still they prefer the brick and mortar classroom type teaching, which is a very important factor. So coming back to the point, in India, private universities, especially a university in a rural setup like us, I had some connectivity issues. For those who are not aware, my university is very near to Bhakra Nangal Dam, so you can imagine the connectivity issues that we are having. So online classes in India, we already have a government of India has already initiated a system. We were, if earlier we were using around say 5 to 10%, now we are using it 80 to 90% of the system. So what we have done is we have initiated the online teaching, and this is being supported by NPTEL, MOOCs, and SWAYAM online platforms. We are using the online lectures, videos, and online courses. NPTEL, National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning, is a process of Ministry of HRD initiated by the Indian Institutes of Technology. The main goal was to create a web and video course in all branches of engineering, physical sciences at the undergraduate and postgraduate level, and also for the management course. So, what we have encouraged in our university is, along with the teaching, all the faculty members are encouraged to give additional inputs from NPTEL so that the students need not be glued to handset or smartphone all time. So specifically at my university, while there may be something that is not so perfect, there may be something that is perfect. The university follows a continuous evaluation system. Hence, before March 16th, 2020, when we actually shut down the university, 50% of the online teaching learning process was completed. All online teaching activities are formulated through Dean's Committee. Dean Academic Affairs coordinate overall online teaching activities. There is a well set timetable, as one of very senior academician pointed out. We have broken away from our 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. time schedule, and we have set the timetable accordingly. Every online lecture that our faculty members conduct is being recorded and uploaded by concerned faculty at an in-house developed ERP. So in case students miss a lecture, they can download, see and learn. The university completed its event semester teaching in the first week of July. This is primarily because we did not do any kind of online or any kind of teaching for a period from March to June, and then we commenced the teaching from June. Regarding the internships at our university, what we are doing is we are taking the help from All India Council for Technical Education. They have an online internship program called Internshala, where students are being given assigned projects and controlled and monitored to the site. Swayam portal, our university, we are using Swayam portal, whose full form is Study Webs of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds, is the indigenous platform of the Ministry of Education, the old Ministry of Human Resource Development, that provides massive open online course. Now, there are four. I have sent the file to Professor Nazrul, what the adapted from the website. See, we are right now taking e-tutorial module that contains video and audio content in an organized form, from animations, simulations to video demonstrations, etc. And what are the difficulties? We find many distractions in online learning, since our university is in a rural area and we have 98% of our students from rural area, very enterprising, girls who have a desire to learn. They find it very difficult uh, to adjust to online learning on a continuous platform because of the socio-cultural background, the fear of being exposed, etc. So this is one of the major thing. And the second thing is 97% of the students are digitally connected, but then Himachal being a mountainous area, there are connectivity issues even after scheduling in early morning or evening or etc. These are the two difficulties. So online assessment is one of the part of the continuous evaluation adopted in university. See, we switched over into teaching mode for this semester due to COVID. However, we are running value-added courses purely in online mode, wherein we had invited some very eminent speakers from Bangladesh, like Professor Nasrul, Alauddin. We had somebody from Iraq, and so on. So that is. So the question is, the parents and students, they are finding it interesting, but when it comes to assessment, that I will see. So coming to the PhD students, as per the Government of India guidelines and guidelines by University Grants Commission, we are calling our PhD students in chemistry, business and English on rotation basis, so that their research work does not suffer. Our university, we have done online evaluation only for practical papers like a seminar and presentation, project work, dissertation, etc., which they had sent to us, and we had done the plagiarism check, and then we had a viva. Coming to the assessment part, our university has taken a conservative approach. We highly appreciate the online learning system. In fact, our university is part of an educational group that actively promotes online education. However, taking a conservative approach, this is primarily because of our job oriented courses like hotel management. We have a considerable number of students in computer science engineering whose industry demands that the university conducts proper exam. Some of the states of in India, see, the nearby state of Punjab has declared an all pass for all the final semesters. Some of the states like Maharashtra and Haryana, they also have given. However, we are taking the state of Himachal because one thing that distinguishes the state of Himachal is we are having a private education regulatory commission that controls the university, that mentors and supports the university. So going by the directive, we are waiting for the final outcome of the case filed in Honorable Supreme Court of India by 31 students against the conduct of the exam, because University Grants Commission says all universities should conduct exam and declare the result, uh, whereas some of the students are feeling that it should not be the case. So we are waiting for the assessment part. So this is what we are doing in our university. We actively use the online system for learning. However, the academic session, what we have taken is that we will somewhere the government of India is expected to open the university somewhere in October, November. So we will start the academic session from then. So this is what I have to say. So once again, I should thank Professor Nazrul, especially for one more reason. When we had to initiate the online teaching, all I did was to show the online teaching links of the faculty members initiated by Canadian University of Bangladesh. Even I shared the link with some of my students, and that did the trick. So, Professor Nazrul, we are very thankful to you for initiating the online system. In a way, the student understands, the rural students who come in. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for giving the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your for sharing your experience from India. And from your experience, what I at least understood that the Indian government is supporting this online teaching learning process and system. National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning. This has been initiated by IITs, right? And these IITs are basically helping. They have developed their own platform, and from there, the other universities are getting help. And also another massive online open online courses, MOOCs, or SaaS online courses with where developed as per pedagogy stated herein four things: e-tutorial, e-content, assessment, and discussion forum consisting of video, text, self-assessment, and other things. So with the help of this massive open online courses and online platform, I think you are running your online classes and also the evaluation. And in India, unfortunately, due to filing case, final exam is pending. Anyway, and you have mentioned here in your lecture that the Internshala online internship program. I wanted to know in detail about it, but maybe later on, how are you going to conducting this Internshala? Because you know, in business program, internship is a must. So on online internship, how are you going to conduct this internship? So maybe at the question answer session,
So,
I will give you time at the question answer session. At that time, please give a little more details about this Internshala. So thank you, Professor Ampu Hari Krishnan, for participating, attending this conference, and also giving your valuable thoughts and also sharing your experience with us. Now I would like to invite Professor Dr. Fayazuddin Ahmed Sheikh, Associate Professor, School of Civil and Mechanical Engineering, Curtin University, Perth, Australia. Dr. Faiz.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Islam, to invite me and organize this such an interesting and timely topic to deliver online teaching as well as the assessment. So actually, my background is, I think, quite different from the previous presenters. Mine is the engineering background, so I think some of the presenters, especially Dr. Ahmed only highlighted that this, especially engineering and technology, there are some challenges, especially the lab. Actually, he mentioned, and it is actually correct. So what I'll do is I'll share actually how we are actually on this online teaching as well as assessment. Okay, now before COVID situation, actually, in fact, we were almost 50% online, if not probably 50% online. So for example, although the lecture was face to face, but it was recorded, and frankly speaking, about 1/3 to say 40% students never come to face lecture. You know, some of them they work, and some of them they just want to download the lecture, and all these lecture notes, lecture materials, tutorial materials, everything is uploaded in we call the board we use the online platform, so they get access. And but most of them, they've joined the tutorial or workshop session, where actually we go through some of the detailed calculations of our, this engineering. We got lots of math and physics related problems, so they come join, and they practice, they discuss and interact with others. The main problem is actually the lab, because almost all the courses we offer, it contains some lab sessions, and this is the main challenging part. And especially because I'm the civil engineering background, so all our actually the lab, we have to use physical equipments or apparatus, and students have to, although they work in group, but they have to they operate that apparatus or equipments and take readings, then get this data analyzed and submit report and so on. So but this is the challenging part. And last semester what we did is, in most of the labs, actually we took the video. We ran the apparatus by ourselves. We took the video, and we upload it in the Blackboard platform, and we also upload the sample data. So what they have to do is they have to analyze those data, calculate the required results, and then they can submit their the report. But although it is not perfect, but there is no choice, because we have to run and we have to complete the unit. And this semester just started. This is our second week is going on. So we also following the same procedure at the moment. And this is how we are delivering this lab session. Some labs, say for example, some labs we use computer software to model. Say for example, the drafting. So for example, the drafting in engineering, we have to learn the drafting. So those drafting software, say for example, the AutoCAD or the other software, the students can get online this software, and they can actually use this one from their computer, from their home. So this is not a problem. And some other units, there are some units, the lab is computer lab, they have to use the software, specialist software, and we are managing some access for them, and the students can access those software, they can run their model and then get the results and then submit the reports and so on. Now the second the the most important thing is what we are facing is, as Dr. Taimur and also Dr. Ezaz mentioned, that the assessment and the reliability of the students' work, this is the main problem. And from the last semester exam experience, I can share with you that actually I got two courses, and one of the courses actually I said the exam quite conceptual type exam on, it was online, sorry, the open book type. Okay, so what student have to do is you have to it was a 2-hour face-to-face exam, but because it was online, so we allow them 4 hours. So additional 2 hours is to download, to scan the answer scripts and then upload it. And we understand, recognize that many students, their internet may be slow, or sometimes any if any breakdowns happen. So that is how we allow them 4 hours, but it was a actual 2 hours, and they have to log in this Blackboard. The exam questions was there, and they are given 24 hours of the access time. But once they start, they have to submit within 4 hours. And most of the students actually they did quite well, but we got some news that some of the students actually they actually did cheating. And there are already some the websites that are online, they provide the solution. So if you send them the question, and very quickly they have the expert there, and they will send you the solution. I mean, so this is the problem, another issue. But from this semester, what we are thinking is we will be using iris system. It's an online, it's a video monitoring, so it will monitor the students movement, as well as in the computer what type of files they are downloading, and all this it will be recorded. And if anything suspicious happen, then it will flag those issues to us. But again, as I say, as Dr. Eza said, that yes, the student X may not be his student X, maybe student Y is, or the contact person is answering. So this is really the challenge. I'm not sure how this challenge can be addressed, but we have to find some way. But this is only for the COVID. But my understanding is, if we really move to online in future, this type of invigilation maybe we can organize through some third party. Say, for example, in Australia, there is one online university called Open University Australia, and they offer different online courses through different university platforms. Say, for example, Curtin is the member, and Curtin University also offer different courses, and students can register those courses, and they can they are getting everything online, lectures as well as all the materials. But the exam, when the exam is happen, they have to come physically to our university, and they have to sit for the exam under face-to-face invigilation. So this type of hybrid system can be done. But I understand, due to this COVID situation, because we are not allowed to bring all these students face-to-face, so this can be challenging. But in future, if the university is planning to move fully online course, then this can be another solution. But still, I don't know, for engineering or technology or other science based, where they have the lots of lab activities, how to actually handle all those physical labs. But again, it can be through the third party. Say, for example, if the students is staying in overseas, and if maybe what we can do is, at that country, we can have some selected labs, we can organize with universities or other institutions, those facilities there, so students can go and then operate and run those equipments, and run that lab, and then they can complete that lab. This can be possible. So I think this COVID situation actually give us some opportunity. Maybe university authorities are thinking, especially I'm thinking about the engineering or technology disciplines. So it may be possible through some types of hybrid way of delivering, but it can be possible. And as some of you already mentioned, that actually it is not. Although some of my friends actually they thought that, oh, you are doing online, so you have free time. But actually our engagement actually increased quite significantly. Especially you have to answer lots of email, and you have to prepare lots of the documents and these materials. You have to record it, upload it. Actually the in terms of the time commitment, actually it increased, what my personal as well as my other colleagues are also thinking. But you know that maybe it may be a good opportunity. University can offer both program at the same time. Say, for example, at Cartin, we are offering face-to-face plus online. So those who cannot come because of this COVID, I have many students in China, in India, in Sri Lanka. So they have already registered the units. They are attending everything online. So we are communicating with them. So this can be possible, but I'm not sure the labs and this exam, if we can find some solution for effectively which we can control the quality, then it should be fine, I think. So that's all from me today. Thank you.
Fayazuddin Ahmed Sheikh for explaining the engineering teaching and assessment systems in Carleton University, Australia. And you are suggesting hybrid system, and I know that some of the US universities are using this hybrid system. Especially problems are still lie with the lab sessions. So
Yep.
all other things you can deliver online, tutorial, lecture, lab class, assignment, even exam. But lab session is very
Yep.
difficult to deliver online. Therefore, hybrid system is following by your university. And you have also suggested that third party can help. But again, if third party is to be arranged, and there are costs involved with this
Yep.
third party.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And also, you have suggested the online iris software for invigilating the exam.
Yeah.
But again, maybe if it is useful and also easily available, can be sourced by the university easily, then it can be used. And one thing you have mentioned in your lesson, what I have seen that in final exam, you give a question and it is available. It is available 24 hours in the website. But when a student will enter, after entering, they will have to finish the exam in 4 hours.
Yep.
So how are you going to trace this student, and whether they are taking more time or not? I will ask this question later on. Okay,
Yes.
after
Okay, no
question
problem.
answer session. So how are
Okay,
you going
sure.
to manage this? So this is a good technique. I know that in Bangladesh there is a private university. They are giving exam, midterm and final exam, and giving 24 hours to answer, and they are following Bloom's taxonomy. Our questions are asked by following Bloom's taxonomy. So it's not easy to answer by the students exactly from the book or from the documents or from the website. But you are saying that 24 hours exams questions are there, but once he enters, he'll be able to be there for 4 hours. Not more than 4 hours is allowed. Otherwise, he will be the late submitter or something like this. Anyway,
Yep.
thank you, Dr. Faizuddin Ahmed, for your valuable thoughts sharing with us. Especially, there is also a question from the audience regarding engineering education. This online education is a little bit difficult, especially the lab session. Thank you. Now I would like to invite Dr. Jitendra Dangle, Associate Professor and Head of Research Department, Public Youth Campus, Faculty of Management, Tribhuvan University. Professor Jitendra Dangle.
Would you please unmute, please unmute your.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Islam, and thank you very much for the organizer for providing me the opportunity to talk about something about the online teaching and assessment system. In the context of Nepal, we are conducting our classes online, and also Bhaiva Bose programs also we are conducting on online. Now, regarding the online program, we conducted midterm exams in the MBA programs, but still we have a lot of difficulties to conduct the final exam. Actually, our UGC, University Grant Commission, also issued a guideline for the online classes as well as the examination. But you already, all of you know that our country is most of the part are hilly and the mountain regions, so that we have a lot of difficulties about the internet connectivity as well. For your kind information, so our 62% of the people live in city areas. It's indicate that remaining portions around 38% live in the village areas and the mountain and the hilly area. That is the major problem to us to conduct the online classes. And regarding the electricity access, the 90% of the people in the Nepal have access to the electricity. But we have a 7 different province. Among of these 7 different province, Karnali province has only 27% electricity access. That is the another challenge to us to conduct the online classes. And regarding the internet access, only 75% people have access to the internet. And we have a few questions about the quality. And for your kind informations, we have 11 universities. In 11 universities, in total, we have 538,000 students. Again, among of these 538,000 students, 415,000 students in the Tribhuvan University. It's around 77% of the total students of the Nepal are studying in the Tribhuvan University. And I am the faculty of that Tribhuvan University. So that we have a very huge students. That is also a challenge to handle in a online teaching mode. And now we have one youngest university, the Nepal Open University. This university has 680 students. And the most interestingly, the Open University has been established to conduct the classes on online mode. And the university has been established in 2016, and classes has been run or launched in 2017. And we have a online teaching experience in a Tribhuvan University as well. In 2015, Tribhuvan University established Open and Distance Education Center. But these classes are largely based on the distance education rather than on the exclusive of the online mode. After COVID-19 pandemic, the traditional face-to-face classes had been halted, and making the online class as probably only alternative mode of learning. So right now, the majority of the education institutions, affiliated colleges, and the universities in the Nepal are running the online classes. But as for my experience in online teaching, pedagogy, we have a 4 different area of challenges. I would like to classify it in terms of technology, psychology, monitoring, student engagement, and assessment and evaluation. Because of the hilly regions and the electricity and poor connectivity of the internet, and our students are mostly from the village area, there is a major challenge regarding the technology and the bandwidth of the internet as well. The another challenge we are facing is about the mindset of the student as well, because they are much more convinced with our conventional system, but they are feeling very difficult to change conventional systems of learning to online classes. The another important aspect is about the student engagement and the monitoring. It's very difficult to monitor whether they are attending our class very carefully or not, because of the internet connectivity and the another part as well. We ask the students to mute and make the video off. Regarding the evaluations, there are so many different things has been come out. Mainly the assignments are not submitted on the time, and we need to request them to submit, and they argue that they have a problem regarding the internet connectivity, electricity supplied. Sometimes we have a very doubt about the assignment as well, whether they did or not themselves, the chances of copy and the prepared by the others as well. But when we have a challenges, but thinking about these challenges, we try to conduct our online classes effectively as well. So again, regarding the technology, we try to establish the learning management systems, which Nepal Open University has learning management system as well. And our internet providers also providing the low-cost internet packages to our students for online classes. And regarding the psychology, we try to motivate our students and we warn them how to upload their assignments and other things regarding the technical aspect. The another important aspect is about the student engagement. So we try to engage our students and we try to monitoring our students in the teaching learning pedagogy. The most important aspect is about the attendance. So we verify their attendance daily basis, and we create the discussion forum in the learning management system. That is the one most effective systems I found to engage our students, because in a discussion forum we put the issues and the students argued on these discussion forums, and we also share the research papers in the Mendeley software systems, and we ask the students to highlight the important parts and mention the reasons why these are the important as well. And we provide the lectures, video lectures, whatever the video we recorded, we provide it to our students. Regarding the assessment and the evaluation, it's really challenging right now, and we have facing the problem as well. But to engage our students and to proper evaluations, we provide the chapter-wise assignments, and we are providing the quiz at the end of each chapter. We provide them a project work in the group and their presentation as well, and we are providing regular feedback on their assignment to the students. When we talk about the students regarding the benefits of the online mode of educations, because of our 38% of the students are from the village areas, they are much more happy about getting the education at home and available of the videos. They can use it repeatedly. Regarding the cost as well, there is a reduction in the cost. From the supply side also, we have a benefited that previously I am taking the 3 different sections. Right now I am taking the one lecture for including all the 3 different sections students. The most important part is about the knowledge gain. So regarding the knowledge gain, the key dimension is that knowledge gain. So in the Nepalese context, the one study has been conducted by the Professor Stapit and the Shrestha in 2020. They found that the Nepalese management student experience with their present online classes in terms of knowledge gain was found to be equivalent to their previous experience with face-to-face mode. That is the encouraging finding to us, that Nepalese students knowledge gain are no difference in face-to-face mode of teaching and online teaching. Now, the most important aspect is the slowly and steady acceptance of online learning by our students and our teachers, university teachers, are the most important positive aspect. But in my opinion, in the future, the blending the e-learning and face-to-face learning mode is the most important parts. So I think the online teaching plus the face-to-face teaching is the most important aspect in the future, so that all we need to prepare for the paradigm shift in the higher education in the long run. Okay, thank you very much.
Jitendra Dangol, for sharing your thoughts with us. And you have mentioned that although there are problems, technical problems, we have found problems in students' mindset, students' participation in class, difficulty in monitoring, sensing, copying. So these all are the problems arise from COVID-19. But we shall have to minimize this problem. We shall have to overcome this problem. And you also mentioned that your university developed LMS, learning management systems, for online teaching and assessment. And by chapter wise, you are giving chapter wise assignment, quiz at the end of each chapter. You are giving project work on group, presentation, and regular feedback about assignments. These all are the things, methods followed by higher educational institutions of Nepal. And also, you have mentioned that there is no difference between face-to-face and online teaching learning process in terms of knowledge gain. Yes, thank you, Professor Jitendra, Dr. Jitendra, for sharing your experience with us and with our audience. Dear audience and colleagues, now we shall directly go to question answer session. Here, specific questions have been asked by different persons to our speakers. So first question was asked by Professionals Academia. Question is, will the assessments done online alone sufficient to judge students' capability on a particular course? Will companies value those who have obtained certificates through online learning and assessment system? This question has been asked to the Honorable Vice Chancellor of University of Liberal Arts, Professor Johirullah sir, to you. Sir, are you there?
Yes.
Please.
Thank you for this question. I think it's a very good question from audience. I would like to, reply this question with confidence that yes, I think we have to rely on our online teaching and learning, and we have to have faith on online judgment and assessment. Because even if you ask me the same question, whether the face-to-face assessment system is sufficient to judge a course, to judge a student, in that case our answer also can be yes or no or in between. You see, I would like to answer in the same way that it is all about it is all about the teacher and student, and the kind of course you are teaching, and the kind of sincerity both students and teacher has are showing. Because if both teachers and the students are very sincere, very serious, and very active in their teaching and learning process, in that case, yes, the assessment could be very authentic and very reliable, and we can rely on that assessment. But if the teaching and learning system is weak, I mean, if the teachers, if there is a lacking from the teacher side, or if there is a lacking from the student side, in that case, of course, it will go under question. Even in the few, in case of face-to-face learning and teaching, when you assess a student, or when you assess 40 students of a course, there is a question, big question, whether we can assess each student with 100% accuracy and with 100% honesty. I would like to say no. It is we cannot say yes with 100% confidence. There is a question, there is always, there will be always a question whether it is 100% reliable or not. So my answer to this question is, we started online teaching and learning at a massive level because of the pandemic. We have started doing online teaching and learning and assessment as well successfully. Let us develop ourselves and grow together. I think the kind of assessment we are doing at this point of time, I am very satisfied with that, because I told you that if there is a question, quiz type question or short question, we can use Google platform. If if you want to have midterm exam or final exam, we can use Google Classroom. So and we can have real-time exam. So, or we can have we can make different questions for different students. If I again repeat, if the teacher is serious and if the students are serious, the assessment can be done very accurately. But if there is a weakness from either side or from both sides, of course the authenticity of the assessment will be under question. So it is true in case of face-to-face assessment or face-to-face education, and same in case of online education as well. But my suggestion to my to the person who made this question, that we started online teaching and learning at a massive level, because of pandemic. Let us, develop the assessment together. Let us have confidence, and let us develop together. Let us grow together, and let us grow further. Let us go further. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the answer. Thanks. Now, another question has been asked by MD Sabbir Islam to Dr. Izaz Ahmed. The question is that some students tend to join online class at the beginning and leave after some time. As a result, they are not attending classes online properly. At the time of exam, they may take illegal way to pass the exams and secure good marks. What initiatives have US universities taken to overcome these problems? Dr.
Sure.
Azaz.
Thank you. Thank you for the question, Mr. Islam. I think it's a very important question, and this is about academic integrity that is maintained by the colleges and universities. In the United States, we are using locked browser system. That means during the exam or even the quizzes, the browser will be locked, and the process is when the student appears for the exam, there will be a video cam or video camera attached. Most of the, and if not all, the laptops now have a camera that can be associated with that. So before the student starts the exam, there are some conditions that the browser will be locked for an hour or two, depending on the timeline. But most importantly, during that time, someone will be proctoring it. Remember, when we have the traditional exams taken at the universities, someone is proctoring us. There is a person present in the room who is checking that students are not cheating or students are not using any technology or any means through which they are going to take advantage of the situation. In the online space, how will we guarantee it? It must be proctored and it must be authenticated. Universities and colleges in the current situation cannot maintain their integrity by themselves. It is impossible for them to do it. By installing the closed or locked browser system, it can be ensured that the person who is supposed to be present in the exam is actually doing the exam. And there are services which are free. There are services which you can pay money. Universities and colleges can also integrate their tuition fees or the cost involved with the locked browser system with the fees that they charge to the students. Alternatively, universities can also develop their own proctoring system that is done through online. It's not a difficult task. Everything is possible through technology, but it takes time. So, as the Vice Chancellor suggested, let's see together how we achieve it. But in the United States, we are using locked browser system by which we ensure that students are look, students, when they join in any online lecture, they close their webcam. You cannot enforce them to open their webcam. Okay.
Thank you.
And but for the assessment, yes, we can definitely enforce our system. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Rezas, for your answer. Now here there is another question asked by Raihan Majumdar to Dr. Taimur Sharif. What technology requirements must online students meet for technical degrees? What if they do not meet them? Dr. Sharif. Dr. Taimur Sharif, are you there? Taimur.
Sir may be disconnected from our studio. That's why we did not show in the screen. Please go for the another resource person. When
Okay.
he will available, then I will again in the studio.
Okay, now next question has been asked to Dr. Faizuddin Ahmed by Morshidul Alam Saurabh. Question is, how do universities take online classes and perform online assessment of students when courses tend to have more lab or practical work than classroom lectures? For example, architecture or triple or mechanical department courses. Dr. Faiz.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's very important questions. And actually, what at the moment we are doing is we are having face-to-face the labs. Those who can come, they can have the face-to-face lab. But those who are in overseas, they cannot join because of this COVID. But they have already registered the course. So what we are doing is, as I said, we are just uploading some video of that particular experiments, and we are also providing them some sample data, and they can because they now know that how to operate that machine or that experiment, and then what type of results they will be expecting, so they can use that data, and then they prepare their report. Although it is not effective, but this is the only possible way at the moment. But as I said, that in future, if university wants to move fully this type of online delivery, then what university can do is, say for example, in different countries, they can have some their third-party agent, something like say a research institute or other university, those who have this type of lab facilities, they can contact with them that look, I have few number of students, they will come in several times and do this lab in your lab, use these equipments or apparatus, and maybe they will charge it and they will deliver this one. This is possible. This is possible. But at the moment, we are just recording for essentially those who are actually in overseas, and providing them that data, and they are preparing the lab report. That's all.
Thank you. I think Professor Zohirullah can add something with Dr. Faiz. Dr. Zohirullah, are you there? Hello,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
sir.
Okay, I just wanted to tell the person who made this question is that nowadays a lot of lab activities can be done by computer simulation. So we are running a lot of lab activities by doing computer simulation. So I think maximum problem can be solved by doing computer simulation. Many labs can be done, and there are some lab activities which is very difficult to do online, but for that of course we'll meet physically. There is no barrier that online does not mean that we will never meet face to face, and face to face teaching and learning does not mean that there is no scope of online teaching and learning. For example, at ULab we started our online teaching and learning back in 2007. Every teacher at our university teaches 4 courses. Out of 4 courses, at least some component of one course should be taught via online, and that has been in practice at ULAF for several years. So face-to-face, during the period of face-to-face teaching and learning, we still used to use online component. Now my point is, during online teaching and learning, also we have to go for some face-to-face activities as well. So if there are lab activities for which physical meetings is really essential, and we have to do that. So there is problem and there is always solution. So thank you.
Thank you, sir, for adding something valuable with the answer of Dr. Faiz. Now, another question has been asked by Munshi Shariatullah Joel to Dr. Ampu Harikrishnan. A question is, do you think the online education and assessment system will ensure the true quality of learning, and to what extent in your India? Professor Ampu.
Yes, quality online learning ensures quality to a great extent. The question is very valid. It ensures quality to a great extent, as explained by senior academicians just before me. If the working relationship is there between the teacher and students, and of course the name of the university, we can ensure quality learning. Having said this, our what our university does is we have a say. For example, we have a hotel management program where we have deferred practicals for subjects of front office, housekeeping, food and beverage management, service, food and beverage production. This cannot be done virtually or online. Neither are the hoteliers going to accept. Same is the case with mechanical engineering, and our CSC, Computer Science Engineering program, are going on forcing in online. We do have deferred some of the practical papers for the subsequent semesters. Now, one thing which the all distinguished participants should know is that the final semester of engineering, we have a 4-year Bachelor of Technology program, that is internship. So students have completed that, and their online assessments are going on. In our university, definitely we have not conducted the online assessment for civil engineering and mechanical engineering, primarily because we do not have the resources to do it. In institutes like Indian Institutes of Technology and other leading institutes like Indian Institute of Science, they have set up virtual labs through which they are conducting the exam. To summarize the answer, online education ensures quality to a great extent, depending upon the maturity of the participants, the seriousness of the higher education institute to a great extent, but we can't substitute online learning for some of the conventional based learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ampu. our Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Zohirullah is with us. Would you like to add something with this
Uh,
quality of learning in online education, Professor?
Yes,
Haq?
Nazrul bhai, actually, I would like to add something here. So again, I would like to emphasize, on students and on teacher. For example, the quality depends on both teachers and students. For example, if a student is very hungry for learning, and if a teacher is very hungry for teaching, so in that case, your quality teaching learning will happen. So it does not matter whether it does not matter whether the teaching learning online or offline. So it's all about the seriousness of a teacher and of a student. If both a teacher and a student is very serious, quality will be there. But if the teacher and students is not serious, whether it is online and offline, there will be no quality. In addition to that, I would like to one more point add that yes, in India, we have been we have been practicing guru shishya practice for thousands of years. So I am a strong believer of guru shishya kind of teaching and learning. I mean face to face teaching and learning. So there is no replacement of face to face teaching and learning, because when you are mixing, when you are with guru, when you are having chat with the teacher, you have the face to face conversation. When you make field trip with the teacher, when you visit industry with the teacher, when you
Hello.
when you consult with the teacher, it gives a different flavor, and it is real quality. Having practical experience from the guru and having practical adda with guru, that is the that is the actual learning that I believe in. But at the same time, I am not against of online teaching and learning. I am also in favor of online teaching and learning. So if a teacher is serious and if a student is serious, in that case, whether it is online or offline, quality will be there. So it depends on the teachers and students, and of course, on the authority of the institution. So I agree with Dr. Hampur Nair.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable answer, adding with Dr. Ramko. Now, the last question of today's session has been asked by our friend, Professor Dr. Arhan Thapit, Professor of Nepal Open University. His question is to Professor Dr. Ajanta Dharmeshwari, to Professor Azaz Ahmed. How could we vouch that the student is being proctored and invigilated at the real time while they are taking the exams? How could we rest assured that no ghost examinee was taking the exams? Regards from Aran. So, who is going to answer? Dr. Azanta.
Thank you for that excellent question. I would say what we need to have is care. So, what I mean by care, confidence, accountability, resources, and engagement. You need to have the confidence in the whole process. You need to design the process in such a manner that you need to make it foolproof. So you need to have prior understanding with the students. It's not just policing. It's not just being there as a spies. You need to ensure that the real purpose of having an online assessment, and you need to structure the questions in such a manner that it's not copying or it's not just taking from somewhere. It's more, as someone already mentioned, I think it is you, Professor Nazrul, the Bloom's taxonomy, where the evaluation, where the creation, that aspect, I know it is not possible in all courses, but that's what we are trying to do. So to have greater confidence on the process and inculcate that confidence in the minds of the students. And then accountability, ensure that everyone takes greater accountability, particularly the learning partners, and they are accountable to ensure a transparent process. They are accountable to ensure the right way of answering the exam. And then the right resources, right? Technology. As someone said, a lockdown browser, the availability of appropriate technology to ensure the right process. And finally, engagement. Engagement of resource personnel, engagement of learning partners, and everyone to ensure that we have smooth sailing with regard to online delivery and assessment. Having said that, I reiterate my previous point, again, it should be part of a holistic approach, not just bits and pieces. So online is a vital component of a holistic approach.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Reza, would you like to add something?
Sure. I think Arhan has asked a very important question. To me, the concept and the faith that generations of people and thousands of years that people have on the universities are now in question. It is the responsibility of the universities to ensure that the degrees, the courses that are offered by them are fully monitored and guaranteed with integrity. So I will take one step further from what Dr. or Professor Ajanta has suggested. It is important that the universities provide through technology such as web browser, locked-in browser, develop their own resources, invest from their own money so that their future existence is secured by developing a browser system, because there is no other way you can take an online exam other than through the browser. So if you can develop a system where in real time someone will be sitting and taking the exam, and you have to share the information, such as, let's say, if Izaz Ahmed is taking the exam, what is his picture look like? Is it a he or she? And as Arhan mentioned, how do you know that it is Izaz who is taking the exam? So the universities have to ensure it. There is no other way. I mean, in the United States, that's what we are doing right now. We are ensuring and we are confirming to our accrediting bodies that what we are doing is exactly how we should have done in the face-to-face, fully proctored, no questions asked, no compromise. And I think this is very important for us moving forward for the universities in all countries. Because universities have been traditionally a brick and mortar. We proctored them face to face. Now, for the online, we have to be innovative. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Izaz Ahmed. Another question, the last question, has been asked by Muhammad Aftabuddin Bhuya to all guests. The question is that due to this COVID-19, the new norm, many renowned e-learning platforms like Coursera have been providing certifications and training on several world-class topics, well-demanded hard skills. What is your viewpoint, consideration of this paradigm, please, and any recommendation regarding this for career planning, please? I would like to ask to answer this question to Dr. Jitendra Bengal. Would you like to add? Answer this question?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. In my opinion, there are so many different platforms. There is no any doubt that they are providing e-learning platforms, providing the knowledge actually. But when we are talking about the university is a universal one. So that universals means the university provide the degree which is accepted by all over the world. That's why the one very important aspect is the university developed the courses recognized and accepted by the universe. That's why the Coursera and the other platforms, e-learning platforms, provide the knowledge, definitely provide the knowledge. But only knowledge is not sufficient in a future career, so that we need a university degree. Thank you very much.
Dr. Azamta, his question is very important question, that e-learning platforms like this with their certifications, what about your suggestion regarding the career planning with these certificates which are obtained through e-learning platforms? Dr. Azamta, would you like to add?
Well, it satisfied to some extent, I would say. It's satisfied to some extent. For example, for sure, certain skills cannot be brain cannot be inculcated through online. So certain constraints, say within constraints, it is possible, but again, it should not be the only way. It should be part of a holistic way. Let me reiterate. You can't learn swimming by online. You can't learn a skill by online. You need to have some guidance at the same time. You need to connect it meaningfully with other means of assessing in order to ensure that that proper assessment is done.
Thank you, sir. Any suggestion from Professor Nazrul for adapting hard skill
Yes,
online?
but actually, as you have observed, that I am a very optimistic person regarding online teaching and learning activities. So my recommendation is here that yes, of course, it will help for your future career, because I did a course, online course, last month, and I have been benefited out of this course a lot. So online, you can gather, you can gain knowledge out of the online courses that you have in front of you, offered by MOOC and other sources. So gathering knowledge is very important. Then whether you can use that knowledge for having your future career or not, it depends on you. But it is for sure, if you seriously learn that course, you can get knowledge out of the courses online that are available. So I am sure that if you go for online courses, you will be definitely benefited if the course is really for you. But if you choose a course out of your area, of course you will not be benefited. So you have to choose a right course for which you have interest, and then you can be benefited out of the courses. Otherwise not.
Thank you, sir. I think we have arrived at the last stage of our today's technical conference. It was a long discussions, and I would like to sum up the whole thing in 1 or 2 to 3 minutes, and then there will be vote of thanks from the host, Mr. Saiful Islam. So, from your valuable thoughts and discussions, and also the answers, we can identify few things which can be used to make this online teaching and assessment more effective and acceptable to the stakeholders like students, guardians, and also faculty members and others. So the issue came out from the discussion that is the andrology, that is adult learning method that can be taught by the university administration, by the faculty members, so that the students will be the self-learners. They will have the ownership of learning. They will learn by themselves. And another issue came out from this conference, that for effective assessment, what Dr. Azaz Ahmed mentioned, that locked browser system can be used, although it is very difficult to use, but that can be used to minimize the plagiarism and ensure the quality of exam. Another issue, three critical aspects which are very important to think about to ensure the quality of online teaching and assessment is the context issue, and also conducting issue. Three issues came out from these discussions. Another most important issue raised by one speaker, that the mindset change, almost all speakers, mindset of the learners, of the stakeholders must be changed with this new normal situation. And for improving the quality of this online teaching and learning method system, institutional support is a must institutional support. And also institution can teach the faculty members Bloom's taxonomy, so that the faculty members can understand and can learn how to ask open book exam questions, so that can be supported by the institutions. Also, institution can make available the plagiarism software, so that it can be checked. Plagiarism can be checked easily. Sometimes institution also can create the platform which will help e-tutorial, e-content will be there, assessment and discussion forum will be there. So that also can be created by the institution. although it is difficult to conduct the lab sessions in engineering education, but if they can introduce hybrid system, then it can be hoped that the effectiveness and quality of this engineering education can be enhanced. And also, research identified that there is in Nepal, research identified there is no difference between online and offline. Of course, we want that. We want it that there will be no difference. Rather, this online teaching learning method will be more effective than the offline teaching learning method. And also, our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Bangladesh University of Liberal Arts from the very beginning mentioned that every crisis has got also opportunity behind. So these crises, the pandemic crisis also created some opportunities for us, opportunities to learn the online things, to learn the information and communication technology, to act, to play role in online platform, which is flexible and which is adaptable. So this is something we benefited from this crisis. And also this online teaching, learning, and assessment method helped us to showed us that the teaching learning is not only cannot be occurred not only by in-person learning. It also can occur online and by using ICT, information and communication technology. Therefore, we can conclude that although the COVID-19 forced us to move distance teaching and learning, it also created important opportunities to propose more flexible learning possibilities and explore blended and hybrid learning systems. And online learning is not about one pedagogical model, but an aggregation of various models. The former one, the in-person one we used to use, it was teacher-centric. Now the present one is the learner-centric. That means learner-focused. Therefore, even in the post-COVID-19 era, offline or conventional education models may not become obsolete. They will hopefully survive. However, blended learning, that means combination of classroom and online modes, will be the norm in coming days, hopefully, and institutions and teachers will blend the two judiciously according to the context and the content by solving the concerns of the stakeholders about the quality of education and the assessment system. So, as a session chair, I would like to extend my cordial thanks to all the speakers for sharing their valuable thoughts, their experiences, and the practices they are doing in their places with us and with the audience. Thank you all for attending this very important conference, and I hope that these discussions will be helpful for the policymakers of the university and higher educational institutions, and also for clearing the misunderstanding or ambiguity of the learners and the faculty members and educators of the world. Thank you all. Now, I would like to hand over this to Mr. Saiful Islam to give a vote of thanks. Thank you, sir, for giving your valuable time and giving your valuable thoughts and sharing your practice and knowledge and experience with us. Thank you all. Mr. Saiful Islam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, valuable discussion regarding our today's topic. Now we are in valedictory session. Very beginning, I want to say a few words to our session chair as well as convener of our international web conference. Not a single event can be performed without a leader. It was a great opportunity for us to work under the guidance of Professor Dr. Nazrul Islam, sir. His persistence effort were marvelous and embarked a new dimension in the field of higher education in the world. Thanks a lot again to you, dear sir. We wish that you will shower your knowledge over us. Now, I would like to extend My cordial thanks to our all world-renowned professor for their unconditional cooperation and presence and variable contribution in this international web conference on the virtual platform. Thank you so much, sir, for your gracious presence in this web seminar, web conference. Now, I would like to express my gratitude to the patron organization. We all are thankful to a great educational platform, professional academia, for their unconditional support to make this event unforgettable, and for adding glory in the history of Bangladesh to add one more feather in the field of education in the global issue. Now, the concluding remark, dear audience, with this, we conclude here with remarkable and memorable International Web Conference 2020. We promise you all that in the next web conference, we will enter in the field with some contemporary issues in nourish your mind. On behalf of professional academia, I promise you that this may be the end of today's session, but undoubtedly this is the new beginning. Thank you so much for your enthusiastic presence in this international conference. Thank you so much to all of you. Thank you.